In the beginning of the story, we'll be seeing three people named Ting, Zhangping Yuanmai, and Wenring Xuan. They are trying to open the Great Shield Aegis in that place. After the shield is opened, a holy beast named Kirin comes out of the shield. Xuan asks something that lies inside him, but Kirin refuses, and it causes the fight among them. Kirin is too strong for Xuan. Being cornered, Xuan unleashes his firepower named the Fire Huan and attacks Kirin. But again, Xuan's attack is to no avail and sends him flying and cornered. Fortunately, a man with ice power comes and saves him in time. It's Zhangping Jiyu. He comes with three other people named Tuk Sing, who possesses earth element, Mook Sing, the wood element, and Jin Sing with metal element. On the other side, Ting witnesses the Kirin's baby coming out of the shield. The moment later, Kirin attacks Xuan until he is powerless. After that, the holy beast or Kirin catches Ting and Yuami, seeing that Jiyu tries to stop him using his ice power. But similar to Xuan, his power fails to harm Kirin. Then Kirin locks the seal and reminds them because they have caused a chaos in Demon Realm. After that, Kirin leaves while taking Ting and Yuanmei with him. The scene changes a moment later, and we will be introduced with a young lady named Su Xiaoan who has just returned from picking up the herbs from the mountain. Before returning to her village, Xiaoan always visits an old woman named Shan Po. Arriving at the village, Xiaoan gives the medical plants to her fifth uncle named Shan Zi. She unintentionally bumps into her father and makes the galley-pot shatter. Xiaoan's father is the head of the village named Bai Yi, the third son of 7 brothers. After that, Xiaoan asks him to let her stay with Shan Po, who is ill. Her father gives her permission, but she must meet the galley-pot maker who lives in the forest not far from their village to make a new galley-pot to replace the one she had broken. After Xiaoan leaves her house, Bai Yi calls Xiaoan's brother, Shan Zi, to call Grandma Shan Po to meet him. In the forest, there are 3 mysterious men who are wandering and coincidentally bump into Xiaoan. She is afraid and thinks that they will steal her money, but they only ask her the nearby village to have some rest. Then Xiaoan tells them about her village. After their departure, Xiaoan immediately runs fast, but unfortunately, she is tripped and falls in front of a mysterious obelisk which written Shenyan Wushan. The obelisk is emitting a peculiar blue ray. Suddenly, Xiaoan is surprised with the appearance of a duck, which makes her panic. Realizing it is a duck, she is tailing where the duck is going until she arrives at the lake and meets a man who is having a bath. On the other place, Xiaoan's father is holding a meeting with Xiaoan's 3 brothers who received a letter saying that they must send more medicine to their second brother who isn't in the village. Xiaoan's father asks Ku Huang and Hoa Liu to take the medicine. Meanwhile, Xiaoan is with the man whom she has just met. It turns out that duck is his livestock. He asks about Xiaoan's purpose of going to that place. She answers that she is going to meet the galley-pot maker. Fortunately, he lives with the galley-pot maker she is looking for. Then Xiaoan asks him about the meaning of the letters on the obelisk she has seen before. He tells her that back then, Shenyan Wushan is a home to fierce monsters. They started to arrest humans and commit crimes. Humans were powerless and let them did anything they want until 5 knights came and gathered their energy of yin and yang and changed into 5 elements. With those powers, they sealed the entire monsters in the mountain. After that, one by one protected the 5 entrances to the mountain and protected the seal. Xiaoan listens and thinks that it is just merely a myth. Not long after that, they arrive at their destination and meet with the old jar maker. He says that Xuanji, the man that guided her, is the one who makes the galley-pot. Xiaoan gives him the money, and after that, Xuanji also accompanies her to her village while carrying the new galley-pot. The scene changes. There is a sound of the warning bell. There are 3 people whom Xiaoan has seen before are barging into the village. Huang comes and tries to block them, but one of them can defeat him easily. Fortunately, Shanzi comes at the right time when Ku Huang is almost being killed. At the same time, Xiaoan and Xuanji arrive at the location and witness what's going on. Shanzi tries to fight the mysterious men with his spear. The fierce battle happens, but Shanzi is overwhelmed by their power when he is opposing 2 men at once. Meanwhile, Hua Liu helps him with his exploding arrow, but their attacks are giving no results. They are about to kill Shanzi, and suddenly Xuanji appears and burns them, which are the monsters with his fire force. It turns out Xuanji is Wenren Xuan, the fire element guardian. Everyone is surprised, and moreover, after seeing the duck, which is always with him, talks. Its name is Shu Bao. Meanwhile, in the village, we will see a little boy named Dan Zi and his brother Yu Xing. Yu Xing, who is returning from work, is welcomed happily by Dan Zi. He also brings him some monk fruits. Suddenly, they hear a loud explosion not far from their place. It turns out the sound of the fight between Wenren Xuan with one monster left, which is turning into a peacock. With his fire power, Wenren Xuan finally casts the monster out of the village. Xiaowen and her father take all victims to the village. It makes everyone panic. As the leader of the village, her father tries to calm them, until in a sudden the monster returns and asks something to her father, but he says he doesn't understand what he means. A moment later, Xuan arrives and attacks the monster. But unfortunately, he gets injured when he is trying to protect the people. Then the monster emits an aura and peculiar light from its body that makes people who sees it turn into a fierce monster. The monster also absorbs energy and spirits from them. Surprisingly, the peacock monster turns into a human named Chensu. He comes to Shan Po and asks the whereabouts of something. After he finds out, he immediately leaves. Xiaowen chases him right away. Shan Po tells Xiaowen not to trust anyone, even her father. On the other side, Ku Huang, who has turned into a monster, starts killing everyone. He also wants to kill his son. Yusing tries to stop him but ends up getting injured. Danzi, who is looking from afar, comes to help, but monster Ku Huang killed him. Looking at Danzi and his son being killed, Ku Huang cries and asks Yusing to kill himself. Yusing forcefully kills him and gives Danzi a monk fruit as his last request. On the other place, the fierce battle between Xuan and Chensu is still going on. For a second, Chensu thinks he had defeated Xuan, but Xuan manages to resist and turns into his best mode. He beats Chensu with full power and makes him powerless and returns into a peacock. At the last time, Chensu releases a little bird from within to relay a message. Xuan asks him his intention, but Chensu asks him to go into the hut and see by himself. At the same time, Xiaowen's father comes and unintentionally drops the pills, which makes Xuan shocked when he smells it. Xuan immediately goes inside and surprised to see the Kirin's baby is chained and crying. It is a little sacred beast that came out of the shield ages at the beginning of the story. Seeing that makes Xuan angry. Meanwhile, Chensu warns him that there will be a chaos before his death. After that, Xuan takes the little beast and leaves without saying anything. The scene changes. We'll be seeing a great number of villagers fall ill and die. After that, Xiaowen and her father, along with several villagers, go to the forest to find the medicines. But they find the Kirin's baby on the cliff. Xiaowen suddenly wakes up from her dream, a weird dream that always comes to her. Her father looks sad after losing Ku Huang, who had been transformed into a monster. On the different place, some villagers look confused to remove the monster's corpse, which troubled their village. Then, a man comes and vanishes it by absorbing the energy of the monster. He is Gong Said, second brother of Xiaowen's father. On the other hand, Yusing looks devastated because he had lost his only brother. Revenge and anger shown from his eyes. Meanwhile, Xiaowen asks his father about what the monster is looking for. Her father then tells her everything. 3 years ago, there was a big plague that struck their village. It made Xiaowen lose her memories about the incident. Almost the entire villagers fell ill and most of them died. At that time of crisis, there's a hope when a holy beast, the Kirin's baby, appeared in their village and unintentionally dropped its scale into the well. The villagers who drank the water from the well surprisingly recovered from their illness, knowing that the villagers caught the animal and imprisoned it. Little by little, they take off its scale to make pills for them to drink continuously. Suddenly, Xiaowen's first and second uncle named Gongxi and Cheesy come. Xiaowen's father is surprised to see their face has changed. They also bring along 2 guards named Zikai and Luer. Xiaowen's father tells them that Kirin's baby has brought by Wenren Xuan, the fire wielder. He also says that the pill which they made from Kirin baby's scale can increase the devil's power, but he doesn't know what caused the villagers turn into monsters. Then they plan on taking the Kirin's baby back to their village, but Wenren Xuan is not their match. Xiaowen remembers Shan Po's words to not trust her father. She wants to find out more about it. Then she offers help to bring Kirin's baby back and says that she knows Wenren Xuan. Her second uncle asks one guard to help Xiaowen. He also says that they can only wait until they are accustomed with their new bodies. The scene changes. We will be drawn to the demon realm. There seems Chen Shu's messenger bird has arrived. It comes to the demon king and gives him the pill and tells him what had happened. The demon is furious and plans to retrieve the little sacred beast to level up their power and take revenge on the wielders of the 5 elements. By that way, they can open the seal that had imprisoned him all this time. The demon opens one portal and sends his 3 strongest demons to the human world to retrieve the little sacred beast. Meanwhile, the 5 wielders realize what had happened and get ready to final war. The story ends here. Well, that's the recap of Fog Hill of the 5 Elements. A little brief of this movie, it talks about Wenren Xuan, the fire element wielder, one of the 5 wielders. He opened a great shield Aegis, a home of vicious monsters and holy beasts, to heal his mother named Ting, who is severely ill. But his effort was useless. His mother and the water wielder's sister were kidnapped by holy beast Kirin. At that time, without their knowing, a holy Kirin's baby sneaked out of the portal to the human world. After a while, the little sacred beast was arrested by a group of people and used his body to make medicines. They don't realize that it causes disaster, and the demons come and want to retrieve the little sacred beast to level up their power. For your information, Kirin is a creature from Chinese myth that gives a good sign and prosperity. What do you think about a fog hill of the 5 elements? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel by activating the bell to receive notification of the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next video.